I'm Alana Cerrone-O'Hare.
And I'm Nick Millard.
Welcome to PVD POV, where we bring you new insights into the coolest little city in the smallest state.
Whether you're a local looking to uncover hidden gems or a visitor eager to dive into our vibrant culture, we've got you covered.
And each week we'll be chatting with the movers and shakers here in Providence, from restaurant owners to hoteliers and everyone in between.
And this week on PVD POV, we have one of our very own, Mr. Jonathan Walker, Director of Sports Sales of the Rhode Island Sports Commission. And I did get his title right this time because we had to do it twice.
He has gotten a lot of press recently, if you've seen him on the local news, because the same reason we wanted to bring him back on the podcast this week. We've got a ton happening in March, including, of course, the very sexy NCAA basketball tournament that's coming to the AMP. So we wanted to talk with him about that. But one of the things that I love most about this topic is that it's not all about those big events, right? Like World Cup, Army, Navy, NCAA. It's about all of the other events that really kind of drive the Sports Commission and drive the economy.
Yeah, and we talk a little bit about those ones. I think you mentioned Rubik's Cube competition, which is quite interesting. You don't think of that when you think of sports.
But my 4-year-old, he has no idea how to do the Rubik's Cube, but he holds it and plays with it all the time.
I mean, it's like Christine in our office.
Geniuses. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think Christine's very good at it.
No, but she likes to hold it and think.
It makes her look smart.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We love Christine.
But yeah, Johnny Walker is the go-to guy for sports here in Rhode Island. So we were super thrilled to have him on the show again. So turn us up and get ready to experience Providence from a whole new perspective.
All right, so we're welcoming one of our own today, Jonathan Walker from the Rhode Island Sports Commission, who works with us at GoProvidence at the Providence Board Convention and Visitors Bureau. Welcome on to the podcast.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
He was one of our first guests.
I was, yes. Excited to be back. Excited to be back here at Johnson & Wales. As I said last time, my old stomping ground. So excited to join you guys today, talk a little bit about what the Sports Commission has going on.
And you're wearing a very fitting pullover for this episode.
Yes, we're on the campus of Johnson & Wales, but I'm rocking my Providence Friars gear as we're...
Campus police is on their way.
I know.
As we're in the full phase of preparation for the 2025 Men's Division I Basketball Championship. So we're hosting the first and second rounds in a couple weeks here, and Providence College was our host institution partner. So repping the Friars today.
And did you get any dirty looks on your way over here, or I know you had a jacket on? Were you kind of hiding that on purpose?
I did not. You know, Friar fandom runs deep here in Providence and throughout Rhode Island. So I think the dirty looks. Maybe if I was wearing a URI Rhody Rams shirt, you might get some dirty looks in this part of town, but no, everyone's very nice.
We're very excited because we have a crazy busy March in a lot of ways, but one of the things that we're gearing up for is 2 NCAA tournaments, like you mentioned. One of them, the host, is JWU for wrestling, and the other is basketball, as you mentioned. So if you could, from a Sports Commission lens, talk a little bit about what goes into getting these tournaments here. It all kind of begins and ends, right, with having the buy-in from a host institution, right?
You need a great partner. Yes, you need a local organizing committee, because there's a ton of different things across multiple sectors of multiple industries that you have to organize. But I'll back it up a little bit. As Nick mentioned, my name is Jonathan Walker. I'm the Senior Director of Sports Sales for the Rhode Island Sports Commission. And the Sports Commission is a division of the Providence-Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau. So our goal is to promote Rhode Island as a premier place to host a sporting event, a sports-related meeting. And again, we're trying to increase tourism and visitation through sports. So some of the major events we have coming up recently are NCAA championships. First will be the men's Division III wrestling championship. Our host institution partner, as you mentioned, was Johnson & Wales. So the NCAA requires you to have a host institution partner, whether it's an individual institution or a conference, to partner with you when you go to submit the bid. And it's a really cool event. It's a 2-day championship over at the Meekin Mutual Pavilions, over at the arena. But the planning for this event takes years. I'm talking 4 or 5 years ago, we started this planning. And you really need to have an entire community involved, from the hospitality and hotel community to arena and event management to event ops with our partners here at JWU. And then that's all just inside the arena, tournament operations. Then we need to talk about city services, parking, safety and security. So again, we typically form local organizing committees, groups of key decision makers across the state to make sure that we have the right folks in the room, not only when we're preparing the bid, but when we're planning and preparing for arrival like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just crazy to most people. I mean, I've been working here for a while, but people probably don't think about the fact that you've been working on this thing for about 5 years.
Since the last tournament was here, basically, right?
Correct.
Exactly. So it's just like, it takes so much time and effort to get these things put together. But when people see it from the outside view, they just think, oh, yeah, they're just having a wrestling championship in this city, X, Y, Z. Oh, it's here this year. It's here this year. It's like, but people don't get the behind the scenes of how this gets put together.
You're right. The general fan, they might learn that the championship's coming here to Rhode Island or Providence once tickets go on sales or once we start really pushing our marketing efforts. But the planning and logistics is long underway. And again, we're talking city services, we're talking state police, local police, the Rhode Island Hospitality Association, the neighborhood associate, you name it. We want to make sure that our community is prepared. People are booking hotels, they're buying out our restaurants, same thing for basketball. We have alumni associations already calling to see, where can we host our group? What do you guys have in Providence that can elevate our experience while we're in town? And as you mentioned, they don't even know if they're coming here yet.
Right.
So it's very exciting. But one thing that I think sticks out, right? People see the games on TV, they know that it's at the arena, but the level of jobs and the level of economic impact that these events create is astonishing. From the hotel front desk workers and housekeepers to the folks that check your tickets at the airport to folks that are helping you, greet you off the bus or your servers at the restaurant. It really does. Sports tourism runs the gamut, and the level of jobs that are supported, the level of jobs that are created when we have some of these major events is a significant, impact of our work.
Yeah. And we just put out a release and got some good traction locally, right, with the Q1 sporting events in the state, generating, I believe it was 18 million or 15 million. I should know, I wrote the release.
Yeah, it was, so just for quarter one, right, the first 3 months of the year, we had 15 Sports Commission related bookings for a total of $18 million in economic impact. And that was 22,000 contracted hotel rooms in the Providence and Warwick area. Again, to accommodate those overnight visitors.
Yeah, and it's remarkable. That's just, that 18 million is direct spend. It's just the money that we can track that's being spent when these events come in. And we often say, right, that the estimated economic impact is actually much greater than that. But we use the number that you can track. And that's $18 million in one quarter just from sporting events. And it's not, I'm not saying this because Johnny Walker deserves a raise. I'm saying this because it's really impressive. And the NCAA, right, like those are the sexy events that get all of the attention, but it's the little events that you and Brittany talk about in every staff meeting: cheerleading, wrestling, hockey, gymnastics, that are kind of the bread and butter of what you do.
And that brings a question too of like what is considered a sport too, because I know when I first started working here too and seeing what you guys are doing at the Rhode Island Sports Commission, when you think sports, you think of course, like, basketball, football, wrestling and everything like that. But there's so many things that are considered a sport that people don't think are in this. So name a few that you
have
people,
one coming up.
Yeah.
Well, we have, you named it. We have our traditional sports: ice hockey, gymnastics, cheerleading, right? But we have some really unique groups as well. One of my favorites that we booked recently was the New England Regional Rubik's Cube competition.
Yes.
And we're talking a 3-day competition. I think we had nearly 700 puzzle solvers. They did about a dozen different divisions, right? One-handed, blindfolded, different shapes and sizes of the Rubik's Cube. So that was really unique. We've had, a tree climbing competition at Roger Williams. We've had vintage automobile road rallies. We're working on a Bernese Mountain Dog competition with the Bernese Mountain Dog Association of America.
That's just its own category. It's not sports. It's just Bernese Mountain Dogs.
But we typically say anything that keeps score or has a competitive nature, fall under our market segment. But yeah, to go back to, the NCAA events, they're nationally televised. They're the sexy, they get the buzz, the PR. But throughout the year, we're booking about 75 to 80 events. And there are some of those niche sports like the Rubik's Cube. They're youth sports. For example, the same weekend that we have the Division III Wrestling Championship, which we're hosting in partnership with Johnson & Wales, that'll take place at the arena, the AMP. Right next door at the Rhode Island Convention Center, we have a 3-day cheerleading competition that is going to bring 15,000 attendees. So between the probably 3,000 to 4,000 people we have at the arena, the 15,000 people we have next door, obviously they're flooding downtown, they're eating in our restaurants, staying overnight into our hotels. All that means business.
Mm-hmm. And we see that too. And we let, part of what we do is we also let the restaurants and everybody know that they're coming in to help them staff up ahead of time. But we see that, like, we'll get reports from the restaurants say, oh, it's jam packed. I'm just like, oh yeah, you got all the pom-poms in there. I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of that over that weekend. The mall will definitely be packed up.
Yeah.
And they sprinkle out into the rest of the city too.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of gets a lift up from that, which is great for these things.
And again, these event organizers, they're not just seeing Providence for the first time and saying, oh, wow, there's a lot of places to eat and a lot of things to do here. We bring them into town 4 or 5 years in advance for what we call a site visit, and we give them the lay of the land. Take them out to a nice Italian dinner on Federal Hill. We show them Thayer Street and walk them across the campus of Brown University. So we really do showcase the city long before the event takes place. So we highlight our workforce. We highlight the fact that we have the right people in the room and the right, the key players were connected. We know the market conditions so that the event organizers, whether it's an NCAA selection committee or whether it's a volunteer who's running the New England Rubik's Cube competition that year, they're confident that the CVB and the Rhode Island Sports Commission is the right group to work with to put on their event.
What makes it the right group? Like, what do they come to town and see about Providence and the venues and the rest of the state, truly, and the venues across the state? What do they see about Rhode Island that makes it special, you think, and makes them want to book here, besides your charming face?
Besides myself and my charm, I would say it's what we call the 1 degree of separation, right? Right now, I could pick up the phone and text the mayor of Warwick, call the governor, invite the mayor of Providence to a dinner on a site visit. The level of connectivity here in Rhode Island is unmatched. And not only do we have access to those individuals, we have buy-in. The folks here in Rhode Island understand, recognize, and support the value of sports tourism. And I think that's hard to find in other markets, especially larger markets where, sports might fall below the major meetings and conventions. But that's one of the big things that stands out here is our 1 degree of separation. And I'll say it again, our workforce. The level of experience from our restaurateurs and our hoteliers and the people that run our parks and recs and our municipality leaders, they're experienced. It's not their first rodeo, although we haven't had that many rodeos.
Have we had a rodeo?
We have.
Really?
Looking to get one back, into the AMP.
Ooh, I think
like
that we got to know more about
true
that.
rodeo.
True rodeo.
The rodeo.
Oh my God.
That's it. I branded it.
Is that what it's called?
I'm trademarking that right now, and then if they want to use it, I'm going to get somebody else.
Sure you are.
But we've talked a lot here about, again, Providence and some of those large, sexy events. The Rhode Island Sports Commission is a statewide entity from Woonsocket to Westerly. So we use all of the local parks and recs facilities. We use collegiate athletic facilities in South County, in Smithfield, every sheet of ice you could imagine from here to Timbuktu. So it really is a statewide initiative. And I think that also kind of gets missed sometimes because the largest public assembly facilities are, here in Providence, right? Mm-hmm. It's a great package. Walkable hotels, accessible restaurants, an arena and a convention center that are connected. However, our facility footprint, again, being a small state, is pretty impressive. And again, I mentioned the collegiate facility partners. Some of our private facilities are some of the nicest in the region. One that stands out is the Longplex Family and Sports Center, which is in Tiverton.
They have a great location. There's a lot of
187,000 square feet. I mean,
that place was amazing. We went down to take some pictures and stuff like that. That's a lot of space.
And you want to talk about unique events and unique programming. They have, throughout the week, you can go a yoga class and exercise. You can play pickup basketball. On the weekends, they might have a car show. They might have a monster truck rally. They might have a cheerleading competition. So being able, again, to have partners that are creative, that are willing to work with you and explore new ideas is really exciting.
Yeah. And what do we need more of?
We need more space. We need more of those facilities that are in that range of 150,000, 100,000 square feet. And again, I couldn't tell you that it's going to be all cheerleading or all volleyball. It's really multi-purpose. We were really in need of another multi-purpose facility with access to affordable accommodations to allow us to continue to book major events like these NCAA championships, but also supplement that business with more regional sporting events.
And in your experience, right, like you would see another massive venue like that and say, I could fill it.
We could fill it, absolutely.
You could fill it now. Then we won't have to annex something, say like, we could just take part of Massachusetts and just take that. It's just something in there.
We have a very unique challenge right now. A lot of our business is repeat business. Which is great, again, because we're getting teams to come back to Rhode Island. They get to explore different parts of the state. Some of the challenge we're having is they're reaching a ceiling. They're reaching a growth ceiling to where if they were at 10 courts before, now they need 15 or now they need 20. If they had 5 or 6 baseball fields, Jonathan, now I need 5 or 6 under one site.
Do you think that's because youth sports is growing? I do. Becoming more popular or...
I do. I really do. It was the first market segment to really come out of the pandemic to meet in person again was sporting events, right? Because you could be outdoors, you could socially distance, and the trajectory really hasn't slowed down. And it's getting more affordable. Kids are getting a little bit more focused on individual sports. Mm-hmm. So there's a ton of different things that are kind of adding to that. But again, the growth is through the roof. And I kid you not, some of our tournaments are doubling in size, which means they need double the space, double the rooms.
Yeah.
Good problem.
It's exactly right.
It's a good.
And we're the place that they want to come to. Is they want to come to Rhode Island, and so if there is that extra space, it makes sense. That this would be added business for the state. But hey, I will get down off my pulpit, but still.
And we're booking into much further into the future than I think people recognize. This morning, I put in an RFP for 2030.
Ugh, gross.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because, like you said, you've been working on the NCAA thing for the past 5 years. But still, I don't want to think about 2030 right now. I want to think about, probably 2030.
Oh, my goodness.
And again, that's part of our job is to understand the market conditions, the labor rates, how things are changing. What might be the case when the meeting or the sporting event comes to town in a couple of years? Obviously, we can't tell the future, but we need to be tapped in. We need to be the liaison between our community, the different level of city service, and the event owner. Again, to educate the end consumer, whether it be the parent that's booking the hotel or registering their kid, so that everyone has enough information, they're well prepared, and that when they get here, they have a good time.
Yeah, and that's for people that might be listening that maybe have a sporting event that they want that they're thinking about being, or even if they belong to a sporting group that does competition somewhere,
like a pickleball club.
Yeah, pickleball club. Like you guys work with them to bring stuff here, and it's all for free.
Absolutely.
There's no charge for these services that you guys provide, and people I think don't realize that this is our job to bring it in, and it's a service, right?
It is. So not only from the sales side of things, where we can help gather bids and proposals, but once your event is booked and you're confirmed here in Providence, we have a whole services team that really goes above and beyond to make a cater their experience to your needs, which is unusual for a convention and visitors bureau of our size.
No, our services team is great. They do so much. I mean, we're doing a ton of stuff for the NCAA men's basketball coming in, and we're having a launch. We're having the Selection Sunday party. We're going to be on the ground while they're here and everything like that. I know I'm going to be taking some photos, doing some social stuff too. So it's definitely going to be a fun time in the city. Like you said, it's going to be jam packed, especially we're going to have. No, the cheer was along with the wrestling, or was that coming in around the basketball too? Cheerleading
and wrestling are the same weekend, and then we have NCAA basketball as well as a youth basketball tournament. But I think, again, we try our best to tie in the community to these events. I'll give you an example. For the wrestling championship, the same weekend that the NCAA championship is taking place, there's a regional, a Youth New England wrestling for boys and girls in the high school age division. Well, we want them to be a part of this, right? They're wrestling fans. So what we did is we set up a satellite weigh-in location at the arena here in Providence, where individuals that are wrestling in the regional competition can actually come and weigh in for their tournament at the same place that the national championship is taking place. So I thought that was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And again, it's getting wrestling fans into the building. It's getting them to see a championship environment and almost be a part of it, right? You can weigh in right next door to a national championship.
Right. When you're in high school and the next step you're looking at, right, is college, like who wouldn't want to see the national championship take place? That's awesome.
It is. And again,
smart idea.
And it's all about collaboration and communication. And again, I think that's what really sets the Rhode Island Sports Commission apart, is that we have a great network. We have a great partnership with our sports commission, whether it's on the hospitality and the hotelier side, the facility and event side from our collegiate partners, and we're also very tied in with the event owners.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate everything you do, Johnny Walker, especially this coming month. With NCAA tournaments. So look out on GoProvidence.com for some fun things to do in the city while this tournament's in town, especially the basketball tournament. See what you can check out citywide with some types of parties at different businesses.
Yes, and send out whenever you're driving to the city and there's a lot of traffic because of a sporting event. So thank Jonathan Walker for that specifically.
Yes,
and tickets are available for those NCAA championships.
If you're lucky enough to get one.
If you have never seen wrestling live, it is one of the most exciting sports to watch live, and we're talking about high-level competition right here in Providence. So please check out those tickets if you're available, March 14th and 15th.
There's some hometown kids too you want to cheer on.
There is, yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us again, and we will talk to you next time.
Thanks for having me, guys.
PVD POV is a podcast hosted by the Providence Ward Convention and Visitors Bureau in collaboration with the College of Hospitality Management and Center of Media Production at Johnson & Wales University. Hosts are Alana Cerrone-O'Hare and Nick Millard. Production by Professor Brian Lavin with assistance from the graduate students in tourism management. Episodes are available wherever you download your podcast. Visit GoProvidence.com for more information on these stories and everything else Providence.